this game. So I wasn't going to go live and do a live stream of the games because, I got a strike on the last one. But I could at least go over it after the game's over. I figured, you know what, Butler's out. And this was the best opportunity for the Rockets to take advantage of this shit. Because in game 2, when Butler went out, the Rockets were on fire. Made a big difference. Won by double digits. And said, you know what? The advantage is now back on our side. We go into Golden State and take a big game 3. And it looked like in the first quarter that was going to be the case. And guess who was our big primetime player to step up to start the whole game? Is Fred VanVleet. Got to give him a shout out. Finished with 17 points, might I add. We had a 4-point lead at the end of the first, and then the second quarter we broke out to a 34-22 lead. I think it was a 35-22 lead at one point. And I said, you know what? The effects of Jimmy Butler on the court is going to show. The Rockets are going to pull away with a double-digit victory. What's going on, Cameron? And I said, this is going to be a game right here. This game right here is going to be the show-out game where I think the Rockets are going to steal one of 2 games in Golden State. Because I said, it's not important we win both. I would like to, but if we can win one, I'm fine with that and tie the series. Get the home court advantage back. And then all of a sudden, the Warriors just started, progressing and getting back in the game. One of their big scorers was off the bench. It wasn't, obviously it wasn't just Gary Payton II, but Buddy Hield hit a bunch of big shots. 17 off the bench, 16 for Gary Payton II. I like the Moses Moody guy, too, because, he can shoot the ball well, even though in this game he only had, 7 points off the bench. But the bench is really kind of what I feel bailed the Warriors out. And the game was, back and forth. It was a seesaw from the entire rest of the second quarter all the way into pretty much all the third quarter. And then the fourth quarter as well. It wasn't until about the 5-minute mark was when it started kind of separating from there. And the Warriors started hitting some big shots. They started getting some stops defensively. And the Rockets just seemed to have no answer. One second. Anyways, the Rockets just seemed to have no answer. We're playing catch up from that point. I think the Warriors ended up having like a 10-point lead with like 3 and change. And from there, we couldn't come back. We couldn't jew the lead down. That's the way to put it. Stephen Curry, a guy who we minimized his points in game 2 with 20, shot out to a 36-point game. Brandon Podziemski, a guy that we held to no points in game 2, had managed to have 10 points as a starter. Of course, in game 3. Draymond 7, not too bad. Again, you're up 35-22. The biggest problem with the Rockets right now is consistency and ball distribution. Like the last game, we had like five, six players in double figures. And what about this game? It went back to the same stats as game 1. Fred VanVleet was our high scorer of the game. And that should not be the case. That should not be the case. He should not be the highest scorer of the goddamn game. Chagouin, where were you, man? 15 tonight. Or last night. No. You got to be getting like 25 or more, bro. 25 or more. Jalen Green, 38 points in game 2. 9 points tonight. Or last night. 9 points, bro. It's either Jalen Green, you either get a really good game from him or you get a really shitty fucking game from him. Either one. It's either really good or it's really bad. More consistency. Ball distribution. Average stat numbers. Hey, Steven Adams had 8 points. Torrey Eason had 8 points. Our bench points were not that bad. The problem is you only had 3 guys off the bench. That's it. You only played 8 guys in game 3. What's up with that shit? And the Warriors played, how many of their bench players? 5. That means they had a guy subbing in for every guy. They play 10 guys, we play 8 guys. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Jeff Green didn't play. Cam Whitmore didn't play. Jajon Tate didn't play. Aaron Holiday had no minutes. Reed Shepard. Come on, man. Off the bench, bro. So you only play 8 guys in a big Game 3 pivotal. That literally means you're going to get guys with almost 40-plus minutes. Amir Thompson, 37. Fred VanVleet, 41 minutes. Jalen Green, 39 fucking minutes. Come on, man. What's going on with that? Why are only 8 guys suiting up for last night? Why didn't we have 10 to 12 guys suiting up and playing? We need ball distribution. We need to get points, and that 15 from our top prolific center is not enough for 15. Show you need more than that. Like I said, consistency is the big issue here. You're up 15 in the second quarter. Should have had your foot on the fucking gas. And Jalen Green, 9 points. Just like in Game 1, unbelievable. You had 38 in Game 2. You were fucking balling fucking out of control. And now all of a sudden you got 9 fucking points. Again. The game without Jimmy Butler, I would have figured we would have won. We should have won. And we didn't. So now, if you're Golden State, figure, okay, are you going to play Butler in Game 2? Or Game 4? Was it Game 4 now? For tomorrow, for Monday? Or are you just going to go with the same strategy, have same roster, and just go ahead and let him rest another day? Because, worst case scenario, you lose a game, the series tied. So Warriors are kind of in a chess position in a really good move. They're not in a rush to have to get Jimmy G back on the court, as though the Rockets are going to have to figure out what the game plan is. And the game plan is we need consistency. We need ball distribution. And most importantly, we need more than 8 guys playing. Definitely, if it's going to be for we're going to have at least 10 guys, 11 guys in our lineup, in our rotation. The only run with 8 guys and to run a small court, I don't like that. Not in a big game where you're on the road and you're going to have to maximize minutes for a lot of these guys. They're not going to get no rest. I mean, you got 3 guys that almost played an entire game. I mean, come on, man. So we're going to have to figure out the game plan going into Game 4. And is Jimmy G playing? I thought originally Jimmy G was playing. And then come find out he didn't, so he must have changed his mind. But everybody was saying he was set to play for this game. So I don't really know if the Warriors are really in a rush to bring him back. I don't know if they are or not. But anyways, I was making a long story longer because I'm not going to be on here much longer. I'm going to get off here in about 10 minutes. And if you guys want to catch this game and comment on the video, I don't really bother me. The Warriors put themselves in a good position to go up 2-1. Now the Rockets are going to have to. I'm not guaranteeing a victory for tomorrow. But what I will say is we must win tomorrow. We have to win tomorrow. I don't throw too many guarantees out there. And I don't know if I want to roll the dice twice. But I figure if you're the Rockets, you can't go down 3-1 to Golden State. You have to tie this fucking series tomorrow. Sorry, excuse my French. We have to win tomorrow, bro. There's no ifs, there's no ands, there's no buts. Got to get the dub tomorrow. Tie this series. Like I said, I still feel that this is a 7-game series. It's not going to go to end in 5 or 6. I would be foolish to say that I'm not going to take my mindset off of that. I still think it's going to go the distance. Still think it's going to be a dogfight between these two teams. The Rockets got to come out like they did in Game 2. And we got to apply that same logic to Game 4. And, like I said, we've won in Golden State before. Even in the regular season this year, we've won in Golden State. So we can win on those road games. But we got to get it done. So this is the game. If any game is going to be Game 4 where the pressure's on. Again, Jalen Green, 9 points in Game 1 and 3. Come on, man. We're going to need more than that. We need more than that from you. And show you definitely 15 points ain't enough, bro. You're going to have to score 25 and above like you did in the first 2 games. So that's what we're going to need from you. And everything itself is just subsides itself. But our biggest weapons on the team is Jalen Green. So if he's going to be a future all-star here, like the way that we're kind of prepping him out for a maximum contract for what I'm hearing, he's going to have to put up some superstar numbers. And 9 points is not going to cut the mustard, especially in 39 fucking minutes of basketball. Excuse my French. 39 minutes basketball, bro, and 9 points. It's terrible, man. 4 for 11, 1 from 5 from 3-point land is not enough. It's not enough. Not enough. So like I said, only playing 8 guys. I don't know what the issue of that is. You only have 3 guys coming off the bench, rotating in a 5-man roster, a 5-man starting court. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make no sense. So I guess we're gonna have to figure out exactly what we're gonna do in Game 4. Take these mistakes and learn from it. We got a big game tomorrow in Golden State. This is gonna be a damn good game. Like I said, the Warriors are not gonna give us anything. And it's funny how when Curry mentioned after his interview, follow the win or whatever from last night, the first thing he said, well, the Rockets aren't going to give us anything. So I'm not going to say he was watching my videos, but I will say that he quoted something I had said. So that's pretty cool. That's what I said from the beginning. I said the Warriors are not going to give us any of these games. We have to go out and earn it. The game 2, we went out, we fucking earned it. We went out and we fucking earned that win. But like I said, if the Rockets are going to want it, we're going to have to take it, and the Warriors are not going to give it to us, regardless of whether Butler is playing or Butler is not. We got to be more consistent. Hey, what's up, Danny Golden? What's good, man? I said we just need more consistency, more ball control, more ball distribution. And, having an 8-man rotation where you got 3 guys basically playing over 40-plus minutes is unacceptable, man. We got to start rotating more guys. I mean, Golden State had 10 guys who were in a rotation, so that means they had a guy subbing in for every guy that was going out. The Rockets only played an 8-man rotation. That's just, you can't do that. You got to have at least a 10-man rotation, 10 or 11. We got to have some more guys getting in and getting their minutes and, moving the ball around. I mean, I get it. They're trying to do this whole small court thing and trying to score maximum points or whatever and trying to, put up threes and stuff. And I get that. But, when you have a lot of guys that are packing up minutes like that, you get tired. You can see around the 5-minute mark, it started taking its toll. The Warriors pull out to a 10-point lead. And we just couldn't battle back. Couldn't get back into it. But like I said this series was going 7. I said it from the start. But this is a 7-game series. I still believe that's going to be the case. In Game 4, I think you're going to see a different strategy the Rockets are going to apply. I think you're going to see a 10-man rotation. You're going to see more ball distribution. The Rockets are going to have to, battle the boards on the offensive rebounding like we did in the first 2 games. We got to keep the pressure going, and of course, we got to put some pressure on Curry. 36 points in Game 3, he showed out. The game before that, we had him down to 20. So, of course, if Curry's going to get his points, that means we have to take everybody else out. And, if we could just put a little bit of pressure on Curry and force some shots out of him, and then force him to have to get other guys to make plays, I don't have a problem with that. You figure, okay, he's going to get his, Curry's going to get his 30, he's going to get his 25. Well, if we can put Curry at 20 or 22 or like 19, somewhere around there, then that's even a win-win right there. Just put the pressure on him and force the ball out of his hands. Every time he gets open, he shoots it. It just seems like he keeps continuing to go in. And we just have to figure out what the new strategy is going to be going forward, because we need points, most and foremost. And we need guys that are going to shoot. We need guys that are going to make big-time shots. And, of course, we need our bigs to score 20-plus points. We didn't get that in this last game, obviously. And Jalen Green, 9 points, is like, come on, bro. You're supposed to be the best player on the team by far. You're working for a max contract. And you're only getting fucking 9 fucking points. Game, 1 and in game 3. Like, nah, man, we're going to need you to show out this. I'm not going to guarantee a victory in Game 4. This is where the pressure is going to mount on the Rockets even more now. Because now we have to figure out, is Butler going to play? First and foremost, does Jimmy G play? Secondly, because you have to have a strategy if Jimmy plays versus if Jimmy doesn't play, what's the strategy we're going to apply there? So it just adds mounds to the pressure. What are the Rockets' game plans going to be if Jimmy G plays? It makes a big difference when you got a guy like Jimmy who can put up 25 plus a game. So For this game, like I said, ball distribution, dominate the offensive rebound like we did in the first two games, get those second chance points, dominate the paint, and just continue to make plays. Put the pressure on Curry. And I know it's easier said than done, but we have to figure out some kind of way to apply that same method in game 2, and we have to apply that strategy in game 4 and be effective and proficient and execute more importantly. If Rockets go down 3-1, are we in trouble? Absolutely. I think now it's the pressure is mounting. We're through the first 3 games, and now game 4 is going to be a very big game because it's potentially could be a future closeout game. And Golden State wins, they're up 3-1. They come back to Houston, they're looking to close it out in our house. So we're be very we got to win a game on the road. Obviously, that's what the playoffs are for. And so we got to go in Golden State with the mindset we got to get one win in there. I said it, we're not going to get both wins there. We just got to get one. In game 4, we got to go like an all-in approach and have a strategy, apply it, and execute. And from there, I think we got a good chance. Like I said, every game's going to be different. There's going to be different strategies applied. I just don't like the 8-man rotation we had in game 3. If I could go back, and ask our head coach, why the fuck would you do an 8-man rotation? That doesn't make any sense. You got guys playing max minutes there. We got to play a 10-man rotation minimum, at least a 10-man rotation. So, obviously it showed, the fatigue showed at the very end, especially the last 5 minutes to go when the Warriors put the lead up to 10, 3 minutes to go. We couldn't get our shots, and we couldn't get nothing going for us towards the end of the game. They were like, what was it, like the last 5 minutes? I think we only put up like 6 points, something like that. Crazy stat. But yeah, the fatigue showed itself at the very end of the game as the Warriors outscored us 35-22 in the fourth quarter. So they outscored us. That was basically the only breakout quarter that it was between both teams, even though despite we did have a 13-point lead on, or what was it, a 13-point lead on them in the second quarter. So like I said, the thing in common is the Rockets will start off really good. It'll be a kind of a seesaw. Then for some reason towards first and second quarter, I think the Rockets do really well. And then towards the fourth quarter is just sort of that fatigue starts going in and the collapse starts setting in. We definitely got to oh, yeah. Yeah. Like I said, Stephen Curry showed out. He had 36 points. The stats don't lie. And y'all's bench points. Gary Payton Jr. or Gary Payton II and what's his name? Buddy Hield had a combined 33 points off the bench. So even though the starters weren't really producing, other than Brzezinski with 10, I mean, the other players were definitely stepping up off the bench and getting those bench points. And that's also another integral factor is that, Golden State does have a very deep bench, and they have the ability to score off the bench. And so, if you're not going to get 20 points a game from Dre, this is not going to happen. You're not going to get Looney's not going to get a shitload of points. Kumanga, is kind of wishy-washy. Quentin Post's not going to get a lot of points. But you're going to get points from guys off the bench like your guards, your Buddy Hills, your Gary Payton the Jr., or Gary Payton II, Moses Moody's. Guys like that are going to score, Even Pat Spencer had double figures, I think, in, what was it, game 2 when they brought him in off the bench. Guy can shoot, even though he doesn't really get any playing time. I don't think he played in the last game, but I think he had 11 in game 2 off the bench. But like I said, Golden State's got a really good deep bench. And that's one thing I will give them credit for, that they do have a good bench. And as a game 4, I don't know if Butler's playing or not. But if he does play, that just, it's what strategy do we apply then there? Obviously, it's going to create some matchup problems. Again, if I had it my way, I'd probably put D. Brooks on him. Probably go with Amin Thompson on Curry. That probably would be my defensive matchups there. They can always crisscross and switch if they have to. You can bring other guys in and maybe switch it up here and there. Maybe put a Jalen Green a couple of times and sort of switch the defensive matchups up. I don't want us to play any zone defense. I don't really like the zone. I understand why it's necessary, but I just don't like the idea of how players can just get in the basket and shoot those little floaters or whatever. I don't like the idea of them once they break through the line, they can sort of do those little floaters and stuff in the paint. I don't like the zone defense, but I'm more of a man-on-man guy. That's just me personally. But the Warriors are a very good seven-seeded team, and I said they're probably the biggest dark horse of the NBA, and that's exactly what you saw in this series. I knew from the matchup wise that this was going to be potentially a big problem going into the first round. And that's why I wanted Memphis to win so bad in Golden State, because I said, if we match up against Memphis, I think we could beat Memphis. But Golden State, that's going to be a very tough opponent right there. Like I said, the Warriors got our numbers. They've beaten us before in the playoffs, and it's just add insult to injury. Now they are potentially in poker position to maybe go up 3-1. So this is going to have to be the mindset the Rockets are going to have going into it. We have to figure out a way to go in Golden State and get a win. As simple as that. Got to tie this series at 2 and find a way to extend the series. Well, going down 3-1, I think is almost going to be very detrimental. It's going to take a lot of the momentum away. It's going to put the pressure on us to have to win that big home game. They have to win that big home game. Then you're going to have to ask the Rockets to win not 1, not 2, but 3 games in a row. Not saying it can't be done, but it has been done. But at the same time, I don't want to be down 3-1 only to have to come back and win 3 in a row and have to put that young team in a position to have to pull off a comeback like that. It's just going to be almost impossible to do. I still want to put them in that situation. So hopefully game 4, we come out with a plan. We come out, we get the win tomorrow. And it's just as simple as that. And like I said, I think we can win tomorrow, Marvin. I think we can go in and tie this series. Like I said, I got this series going 7 from the get-go. I had this series going 7. Like I said, game 4 we play tomorrow. I think it's going to be on TNT. I don't know the time. Let me click on it real quick. Because like I said, I'm going to be heading out in like 20 minutes to go to work anyway. I got to get dressed in a little bit and head out to work. So I thought I'd go over this game before I had to head out because I had to go to sleep this morning, man. My eyes were killing me. I had to get some, working that night shift, Can't take its toll, can't take its effect on you, especially when you're trying to sleep, man, and you're trying to get your sleep schedule. Anybody who works a night shift, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's not easy. We play a 9 o'clock p.m. game tomorrow, so we're probably going to be the late game tomorrow. I'm going to be off. No, I got to work tomorrow, so there's no way I'll be able to watch that game except for at work. But I can watch the game 5, which will be Wednesday, I believe. So I'll be off for that day. So goddamn right, I'll be at Bogey's watching that game. So be there with my boys watching the game. And I saw the Knicks beat the Pistons by 1 point, and some controversial ending. I didn't get a chance to see it, but apparently the New York Knicks are now up 3-1 over the Pistons with an opportunity to close it out in Game 5 in New York. So Detroit couldn't get a win at home against the Knicks. I figured they'd split that series, and both of those games ended by 1. So wow, the Pistons are showing some fight, and can Detroit go in Game 5 and get a big win in New York to send that series back to Detroit, which is possible, So, like I said, the series isn't over. I know LA's playing Minnesota right now, and I know the Lakers are dying to get a win because they want to tie that series because they are down 2-1. I know Minnesota was dominating towards halftime, and they had a little bit of a lead. Now, looks like the Lakers are kind of pulling off some sort of comeback here. Now they're up by 2, 10:49 left in the third, 63-61 Lake Show. That game is currently going on. So yeah, with that being said, guys, gotta apply this. We gotta get a 10-man rotation going, ball distribution, dominate the offensive rebounding, get some fucking points, put the pressure on Stephen Curry. If Jimmy G plays, we have to figure out a game strategy for him. So yeah, definitely, this is not going to be easy going into the Game 4, and Golden State's not going to give it to us. We got to go out. We got to earn it. So, yeah. I'll see you guys. I'll probably do a recap of Game 4 probably tomorrow. We play tomorrow night. So, it'll probably be like Tuesday afternoon-ish. I'll be there then. So, I'll see you guys Tuesday.